Thank you. Gentlemen, I'll actually take my glasses off for this one as the sun has gone down. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Like I say, it is very close to my heart because Padel has done to me what Padel has done to everyone. You just go for one game to try it out. Next thing you know, the obsession has begun, and I'm currently on about 4 or 5 times a week playing. I know, right? So anyway, before we get into the...
Where do you play?
Where do I play?
Because he's going to get angry if you don't play at WPA.
I have played many times at WPA, yes, but it's a bit too far from where I live.
So we should open something nearby.
This is great. Listen, everyone, we'll just have a chat about if you can just open a paddle court directly in my community. First of all,
the court is 20 meters away from you. By the way, here's the WPA court.
You know that this panel is going to be a car crash panel of what is happening. Let's go left to right. First of all, please do introduce yourselves, what it is that you do. Thank you so much, Ali. Starting with you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ali Al-Arif. We started WPA in 2020. We were actually one of the first that started Padel in the region, or let's say worldwide. It wasn't a well-known sport. When we opened, actually, people were saying, what kind of sport is this? Is it tennis? Is it squash? What is it exactly? So people got adapted to it. They understood the game. I always say, the moment they enter the court, it's an addictive thing. They will come back again and again. But the start was very hard because we want them to convince them to come to play Padel. And then we started evolving from one branch. Today we're in 3 countries. We're opening our 4th country by Q2 2026. And we're evolving within the operation, our marketing, our full strategy. We're going globally, actually. It started as a hobby with 4 courts. Today we're more than 50 courts.
That's amazing, Mabruk. Thank you. That's awesome. Saud, coming to you, sir.
Thank you very much, first of all, for hosting me here. Super excited to finally be back in the UAE after spending 17 years of my life living in Washington, D.C. as a diplomat. Unlike Ali and others here who are extremely passionate about Padel, I don't even know how to play Padel. Yeah, exactly. To me, it's more about conviction. As I said, I used to be a diplomat. I'm a commercial specialist. I'm a businessman at the end of the day. We're taking a venture capital private equity approach to rolling out the sport of Padel across the United States. So we're not a UAE company. We're actually a US company. We opened our first location in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're opening 4 other locations between now and Q1 of next year. Tysons Corner, Virginia, Milwaukee, 43,000 square feet warehouse. We're opening in Chicago next month, so we're super excited. Richmond, Virginia, and then we will start looking at other locations. We target mostly tier 2 cities in the United States. For the tier 1s, instead of competing with some of the early operators there, we decided to go and just invest in them. So in Epic, we have 3 verticals. We have our investment vertical, where we invest in other operators, we invest in technology, things that can add value to the ecosystem that we're trying to build in the US. And then our second bucket is the clubs that we operate under the Epic brand. And then our third bucket is incubation projects. So we are building the first ever college padel league in the world in the United States, because the US is the #1 country in the world that actually understands scholarships and the language of sports within the grassroots level.
I mean, college sports in the US is the most insane bucket, if you will. Finally, Hashim, coming to you, sir. Please introduce yourself.
First of all, I would love to say that we are the serious part of Padel. You're the fun part, but we are the most serious part of Padel.
I don't think there's anything serious about you, Hashim, but go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I would love to thank you, Katie, and thank Level Up for having this, for having us, and for making this nice event specialized in the sports and technology. My name is Hashim Al-Jamal. I'm the founder and CEO of Cypix Group. We started in 2010, handling and specialized in the sports industry, sports construction kind of business, doing the football courts, basketball, and for sure Padel. Padel came along. That's why I made this intro. Padel came along in 2020 in Cypex, and we came up with Padel Factory Middle East, and where you can see our court there. And we have done also 2 other courts, basketball and football as well, portable ones, special for easy to dismantle, easy to install, special for events, activations. We've built more than 2,000 paddle courts all around the world. That's why I told you we are the serious part. The last 5 years. We have branches in Saudi, Lebanon, Jordan, Qatar, Romania lately. Last month we opened Romania to cover the east part of Europe. And yeah, we're happy to be here, and I'm happy to be a speaker. That's
you now just need to chat to Saud to jump the pond and make it into the States. Gentlemen, you kind of all touched on it anyway, but let's focus on the insane growth of the sport of paddle in the GCC. Ali, coming to you first of all, why do you think it has grown so much and it is so big in this region?
I believe mainly it's a very social sport. It's a community-driven sport where everyone can play. You see grandsons playing with their grandfather. You see families. You see competitive people playing. You see pros. So it's a mix of everything, let's say. And I believe everyone can play paddle. That's the difference between all the other sports. And mainly it's socially driven and community-driven rather than you need to be competitive. So it's a sport for all. I always say, starting with kids to juniors and adults.
Yeah, and we won't talk about the people that say, oh, you just can't play tennis. That's why you play paddle. I'm very defensive about that. Saud, obviously you said, have you literally never played paddle?
I had my first coaching session 2 days ago.
I saw him playing a tournament last week.
What?
I had the best coach. That's why I made it to the quarterfinals. No, in the United States, actually, it's a bit different. I mean, this is a country that calls football soccer, and it's a country that calls Padel. Okay.
Oh, they call it Padel?
Yeah, so they actually don't call it paddle.
And they're obsessed with pickleball, so...
Exactly. So if you don't know how to play tennis or paddle, you go play pickleball. But in the United States, the growth hasn't happened yet at all. Actually, we're not even near growth. Padel, as you know, has taken off everywhere else in the world, but not the US, for various different reasons. But we are now putting a bet that it will catch up. Padel in the United States today is not in the beginning, it's literally in the pregnancy stage. And so what we're trying to do right now is just roll out infrastructure. So when that boom happens, we're ready to be able to accommodate demand.
Hashim, bringing you in then on exactly that same question, do you feel that perhaps with Cypex, did you jump on the paddle bandwagon when it started to take off in 2020 in the GCC?
With Cypex, I like the example he said in the pregnancy. So Cypex is the doctor. We were the consultants during the pregnancy, and we are getting the baby, you know. So we've witnessed many massive markets right now in the global market from the scratch. So this curve is a behavior. It's a behavior of people, behavior of country, and it's being shaped by the governments. It's being shaped by the federations, by us as players, investors. So now in Dubai. So let me start talking about the UAE and Dubai. For me, is the best ultimate example for the best example of the best investing country in paddle, because it started and it didn't go in a maturity. It's still growing, So Saudi is almost the same, and I'm glad that recently, last month, paddle have been recognized with Asian Olympics, which is great. And I heard an article saying that paddle will be recognized in 2032 by the main Olympics, and many countries started to to do it with their own country's Olympics. So it's going grow. It's growing great.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's phenomenal. Saud, I'm interested to know from you then in terms of back in the GCC compared to the North American market. What's the biggest difference that you see?
The biggest challenge, I would say, in the United States, unlike in our country here, where in our country, if you have an idea, funding is accessible. Being able to actually convince the regulators here that this is something good for the community. In the US, they do not work in tandem. They're very disconnected. So the biggest challenge I see in the US today is actually getting your permits to actually open your club. But at the same time, even though it's a challenge, it's actually a good thing because you are ensuring having a higher barrier of entry. So I know for a fact that when I open my clubs in the specific cities that I'm opening, I am not going to have any competition for at least 12 months. What does this do for me? It allows me to lower my capex of actually building. I don't need to go build the 5-star spa within my club. I don't need to roll out Pilates or a treadmill or a weightlifting room. I don't need to do all that. I just need to roll out some courts. I need to have a good paint job. And I need to have a reception and maybe a vending machine. And whatever that court generates in revenue, as the competition is introduced, I can then level up my, oh, that's nice, level up my,
thank you very much.
My club from the revenues of that.
So, Hashim, before I bring you in, because you're nodding along in terms of from the actual paddle court itself, but Ali, from a club perspective, it's not just the court, exactly as Saud said. WPA does a fantastic job of building that community, as you say. Great cafe, great access to this, access to that, great washrooms, great this. Things that are perhaps tangible and non-tangible. What makes a great club, without just obviously saying WPA, but genuinely, what does make a great paddle club?
I believe there is a lot of factors. Let's start with inside the court, where you need to have a proper system within the coaching setup, where you have leveling from, let's say, beginners to pros. Then you start with the social matchmaking. Then you start with the social nights, social mornings, lady-specific morning, coffee and paddle, these type of events. And then outside the court, which I believe is very important, people are not looking into it. A lot of paddle clubs are not doing that, where you have to have your facility as a top-notch facility. The extras, as you mentioned, the cafes, the paddle store, the quality of the venue, let's say. So I believe there's a...
Sorry, can we swap microphones quickly? Have this one, have this one.
So what I was saying is also outside the court is very important. The venue, the look and feel, your branding, your setup, your marketing. So especially also today with the cross collaboration we're doing with different companies, different corporate people, starting from the healthcare, from the universities, school, and that. I believe these are very important. And I believe the setup should be, it welcomes everyone, starting from kids to pros, as mentioned, is a place for all. We always say WPA is a place for everyone. Anyone can step inside any venue and they will feel welcomed.
And I think that's really important because I think in sport, the word community is perhaps overused, a little bit like, I don't know, greenwashing with the sustainability side. But with paddle, it truly does feel like a community sport because everyone can get involved. So thank you for the insight from what you believe makes a good club. Hashim, with regards to the actual court, because even when I was starting out, I remember playing one game and I'm like, oh my goodness, why do I feel exhausted? And this is a really hard game. And someone says, because the turf is it's a fast turf. Like, what do you mean it's a fast turf? Give us more insight for that. And I guess specifically for our region, because you've got some tough elements to contend with here.
For sure, indeed. Yeah, at the end, when the thing which lasts is the quality. So, such as everything in paddle, we have different qualities. So, in turf, you have different qualities, and turf is the mostly played element or component in the paddle court, the mostly used element there. So you need to choose your right supplier when it comes to turf, or we, because at the end we are the promoters for this product. We're not the manufacturers, but we are the installers. So we have varieties. As you know, we have a standard. The standard is as per the Padel Federation, International Padel Federation. They have a specific company. Every year they're renewing the contract with them, and it's famous. The most famous clubs, they're installing this kind of turf, and it's as per the level. Or sometime when they say fast turf, it's special for the beginners, for example. But for seniors or for more advanced levels, correct me if I'm wrong, Ali, we prefer to have a slower turf. And Ali has the best
even in the international tour, you see different type of turfs, and it depends on the country. So the altitude makes a difference. The indoor-outdoor feeling makes a difference. As he said, the supplier makes a difference. So there are different type of turf. You've seen in the Premier Padel, for example, slow tournaments, fast tournaments. Depends on the turf mainly.
And it's so intricate about it all. Of course. Hashem is around if you want to get into the real nitty-gritty of it.
Please, sure.
So let's go to you then in terms of from an investment side of things. I guess not in the States, but talking about our region here, do you think investors now have perhaps missed the boat in terms of investing in Padel now? Is it...
No. Please.
No,
yes, go ahead.
Not at all. As I said, I think Padel is still in the very early stages across the entire world. I mean, me and Ali this morning were talking about Asia, for example, and going there. So no, I don't think investors have missed the boat. I think the biggest issue with investors, family offices, again, are you looking for $50,000 to $100,000 ticket sizes for people to invest? Cute. But if you go to family offices, right, they're doing at least a minimum of $500,000 to $1 million. I think it is important to start educating these family offices the advantage of diversifying their holdings into sports. So it's the concept. It's not just Padel. It's just, do I want to invest in sports? Most people today are investing in Nvidia and Meta and Netflix and all these, and they're like, hey, I'm making 3, 4, 5x in public markets. Well, great. So a lot of people are focusing on public markets versus private equity and privately held companies. That's the challenge.
That makes sense. Hashem, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, actually, I would love to know, highlight something like an investment now. It's not only the Padel itself, and it's also the technology behind Padel. Because now we all started to notice combining Padel with technology, like Padel VR, where you wear the glasses and play Padel yourself. You don't need to be in a court. You don't need to have three. You have the three inside your goggles, and many other things like for the counting systems, for the ball direction, if it's out or in. And that's why we're expecting a great future, especially with technology versus Padel. That's why we're with Level Up. They would love to approach this as Padel, because we will be witnessing a great future.
It's interesting that you brought in sports tech, conscious of time. I wanted to make sure we touched on that, because there is so much tech coming involved. Even the booking apps, they're changing all the time. And now each club, it used to be, I'm just going to name the one that we all know, it was just Playtomic. And they had the market. And I guess essentially they still do. But now there's the app side of things, wearables, as you say, the video, people are filming their own games. I mean, Ali, talk to us about how the sports tech is evolving in Padel itself.
Yeah, for us it was the same. When we started, we knew Playtomic, so we said, okay, let's start Playtomic. And we didn't know anything about technology, bookings, and that, so we evolved year by year. I believe start of 2026 will be the big jump, let's say, for us in technology, where we're partnering with another platform where they elevate our court booking, our feeling as a client when you enter their application, with the coaching setup they have, and same time I want to add the technology aspect of it, like you mentioned, the videos where you take the highlights, let's say, of your coaching session, where your coach can can give you inputs about your level once he sees the videos. So we're doing all that. By start of next year, you'll see us partnering with Padel Meets, where I believe it will be a big jump for WPA. For the clients as a booking feature for them, and much more than just booking.
Yeah. Amazing. Saud, your thoughts on the sports tech evolution?
Yeah, trying to be Uber in Padel is just not going to work.
Say again, sorry, I can't hear
Trying to be an Uber in Padel is not going to work. Going around and saying, well, we own the largest inventory of courts, but we actually don't hold any courts, it's just not going to work. And let me tell you why. Myself, Ali will agree, I'm sure. We're operators that aspire in the next 10 years to at least own anywhere between 50 to 200 courts. So you tell me, why would I go spend 3.5% on a booking app that's only bringing players to me and not retaining them? So for example, at Epic, the first thing we did is we set aside some cash. We actually own our own booking app.
Right.
We own our own booking app. We give it for free to our partners, the operators that we invested in. We have an AI camera already integrated on our courts called Clutch AI. And we've also integrated Red Padel, which is the United States rating system. And we're investors in anything we integrate. So I really don't know how these big boys are going to survive, the ones who were first in the market, unless they start going to some of the operators and say, hey, if you use my booking app, we'll invest in your club or we'll do something. Otherwise, they're going to die out.
Which they started in some countries.
Yeah, which is what I was going to say, because surely
they have to.
Yeah, apps like that must help the little guys, right? There must be these kind of clubs that just have, say, 1 or 2 courts, and they need those kind of apps because they don't have the ability. Hashim, you're nodding along at the end there. What about sports tech from your side, from Cypex Group?
Recently, we started to integrate the courts with to have it more smarter courts, and to go through, the Go Green sustainability concepts, installing the solar lights, installing the USB ports, having using the green energy more and more. Yeah. So this is what we're trying to do right now.
It's super important, linking them together. Before we wrap up, I do believe, Hashim, you have an announcement to make. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, tell me.
So it will be our pleasure to announce that we will be having the first specialized racket sports B2B industry exhibition in the region under the umbrella of Level Up. It's called the Racket Hub. It's happening in the next year. And you will be having the chance to see and visit more exhibitors and activators in our kind of business. For sure, we will be having innovation and technology along with us, but the business or the industrial type of business, you will also have the chance to visit them as exhibitors, like the flooring companies, suppliers, the serious part.
If Hashim gives me an installment plan on the canopies I want to buy from him, I will become a sponsor.
Did everyone hear that? We've got that recorded.
Yeah.
Again,
okay,
please.
I like that.
If he gives me a payment plan and anything I buy from him, then I will sponsor him.
Now that is what Level Up is all about.
Yeah, we're discussing something. That's why he's blackmailing me on stage. This is the plan.
I found out this morning that my entire engineering team is already talking to his company. So I no longer have any leverage over him.
Right, no. Okay, we can make that happen. Hashim, Saud, Ali, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic, and I really appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, your panel, thank you.
Thank you so much.